Easy now. Papa got things making headlines.
Come down. Ooh, you make my high come down. Always tripping when you come around. I'ma have to cut you off, like right now. You see, I don't want to drive me. You can say that for your mama. Maybe you should smoke some. Me try the marijuana. I was never you good. The vibe was straight. Showed you a couple of things and they ain't finna change. I treated you right. Everything was a gift from a time to your bag and the color on your lip. Yeah, you
Welcome to Seahawks Man to Man podcast, powered by The Athletic. Shout out to the company. My name is Michael-Shawn and You can follow me on whatever Elon Musk is calling that app these days. My at name has not changed. At Mike Dugar. That is Mikedugar. Appreciate the love and support to everyone who follows and subscribes. YouTube in particular. Seahawks Man to Man. That's man, the number 2 man is the name of our YouTube channel. Thank you for everyone who rocks with us on there. Chris, go ahead, talk to him.
Good day, everybody. It's your boy Christopher Kidd. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at CKIDD206, and that's CKid206. And to echo Mike's comments about YouTube, yes, we appreciate all the love and support via YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're listening to it on Apple, The Athletic, Spotify, or iHeart, I need you to simply go to YouTube, go to your little app. Yep, do it right now. I'll give you 2 seconds. Perfect. You opened it. All right. Go ahead and type in Seahawks Man to Man. Oh, it's automatically populating. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You're in. We're bringing something back this Friday. I think you guys will like it. So, yes, a little bit more content for you. But unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of content. Well, actually, there was a lot of content because the Seahawks, unfortunately, fall to the Cincinnati Bengals on the road. Mike, you were there live, man. Where do you want to start with this mayhem? Because the defense only gave up 17 points. Offense only messed for 13. And the Seahawks are now 3-2.
Well, first you should explain to everyone watching why you're wearing sunglasses. I think you should do that first, just to get it out the way.
So I got these new shades. Mike said, Chris, man, I think you should add some style to the show. How about I buy you some shades since I'm big timing now, and you can wear them on the show and show off the shades, and maybe we get sponsored by Oakley. I said, done deal. So that's why I'm rocking the shades. Mike said, Chris, let's see if we get sponsored by them. They look fly on you, brother. Let's do it.
All right, cool. So Oakley, if you're listening, holla at us. We here. I know you guys already sponsored DK. I believe they sponsor Julio Rodriguez as well. So you already got the Seattle connections. Y'all already got my info.
All right. To be honest, I have a medical emergency. My right eye looks like I got beat up by a squirrel. A family of squirrels, as Mike put it. But, yeah, my eye is not looking right now. So I decided to throw on the shades because I don't want you guys being distracted by my eye and saying, I can't listen to this podcast or watch it looking at Chris's right eye. It looks like he got a slug in there or something. So that is the real reason why I'm wearing glasses. But Mike was going to roll with it. Look at how good of a friend he is. He was willing to sit up there and be like, you know what? Cool. Let's do it. So thanks.
Especially if it would mean more free sunglasses. I mean, that would be great. If we were able to hook that up. But yeah, no, I know that would have been my thought if I'm watching. I'm like, why Chris wearing sunglasses? So yeah, we can get that out the way. So where to start though? I know we have to start with Seattle's offense. Like, because I'm at the worry point. I'm worried. I thought I didn't want to use the worry word before. I wanted to let the bye week self-scout and maybe like figure out some things in particular. Even earlier in the game when they had a third down today, checked it to Zach Charbonnet. He picked up the first down, throwing the ball short of the sticks and letting the guy do the rest. I thought that was really good. I was like, okay, maybe they self-scouted and figured this out. They didn't run any screens. I don't think maybe they ran like one to like 14, I think kind of.
What do you call the one to Ty Lockett when they threw it to him on the left side? It definitely was a quick pass.
No, I see what I think screen. I think
I know what you mean
with blockers and so
it was just DK pretty much for him. He caught it and
I'm not calling those.
Okay.
I think they might have ran one to like Colby, but it wasn't the traditional screens that we're used to seeing where the linemen let the guys by and leak out because those. So I'm thinking like, they figured some things out. Even some of the third down numbers were better, but then like looking at the situational stuff, because that was really the issue. It's just situational football is the issue. It was the issue last year. Third down, red zone. This year, they didn't come into this game against Cincinnati a bad red zone team, but they also weren't a good red zone team. Now they're just like a bad red zone team after today statistically, but it wasn't. It was always something I was a little concerned about coming out of that Giants game. Again, I was like, all right, maybe the bye week they'll get some things right, and they didn't. They're still a not good third down team. They're one of the worst in the league. I don't think they are the worst. I haven't checked the updated numbers after the afternoon games, but I'm sure they're not. It's hard to be worse than like Denver or something today. So, yeah, I'm worried about them. And Chris, the reason I am worried is the reason that we have talked about on the show is that something new is kind of wrong each time. You got just guys not getting open sometimes, the protection not holding up sometimes, Geno not making a good throw sometimes, the play call being crappy sometimes. It's like it's a little bit of everything. And eventually that just means you're bad at it. I wish for them that it was just Geno just not, super accurate, or it was just like, all right, the protection stinks. We can work around that to an extent. No, it's just something new. See, we could chart every third down if we really wanted and just go through and be like, oh, here's what went wrong on this one. Here's what went wrong on that one. It would take too long, and that's kind of a boring show. But just generally speaking, the situational stuff is where I thought they would grow coming into the season, and they just have not. The third down numbers are bad. The red zone numbers today in particular were just awful. 5 trips to the red zone, 10 points. That is disgusting. That's bad. And I don't think the Bengals, I don't know what their red zone defense was coming into this, but I don't think it was great. I guess maybe I should look that up so I don't sound crazy. But yeah, Chris, I don't. In theory, right? In theory, when you're so good on early downs and bad on third down, one, that's just rare. But in that case where teams are, you figure, all right, well, you'll regress to the mean on third down. You figure that'll come. Same thing with red zone. Generally speaking, you would think that. So even come out of the bye, I'm like, okay, maybe they just figured out. No. When you're bad at it for Geno's whole year, well, actually, they weren't really great at it last year either. So last year, Geno's first year, not good third down, not good situationally in general. You get a whole offseason to work on it. You even get a few games in the regular season to test some stuff out. You even then get the bye week to self-scout and fix some stuff, and you still don't got it. Now it's just like, all right, you're just bad at it. And you can be you can be really explosive on early downs. The Seahawks are still one of the best early down teams in the league, I think. But when you're just not there on third down and situational stuff, red zone, whatever, like, it's hard to have faith in that type of offense. You just can't. They got too many weapons to be this bad at it on third down. And I don't. And just written situationally in general. Third down translates to red zone too, because if you convert on third down in the red zone, then obviously a third down conversion, you score. So yeah, I just don't think. I think it's time to worry. I'm at the worry point. I don't know if you are, but I am very worried about the Seahawks offense right now.
I'm in the middle, and it's because you saw potential. They started the game on fire. I thought this was going to be maybe a shootout because they go right down the field on their first third down. They convert, and who do they go to? Someone they drafted. Oh, JSN, 20th overall. He gets the first conversion on that first down. And I'm thinking, perfect. That's exactly what they need to do. Find him, use him, try to get him in open space so we can make a guy miss and get up the field. They converted twice on that first drive on third down conversions.
They did. I liked it.
Yeah, I like the play call. I know you brought it up maybe last week, if not 2 weeks ago. You said on third down, if it's third and long, we'll say third and 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were able to realize in the film that everybody's running 10, 12 yards down the field. Okay, well, who's running a quick drag? Just coming across the field at the line of scrimmage. Okay, obviously, maybe he's not likely to get the first down, but if you make a guy miss, the potential is now opened up. If they're not doing that consistently, if they're not allowing guys to run an open space and they're all just trying to get to the sticks and make a play for the first down, well, who does Geno have? Who's he going to throw to if everyone is somewhat covered? And I think Obviously, I'm going to have to go back and watch the film, but from the looks of it, Geno was doing a lot of what? Holding the football on Sunday against the Bengals. And when he was throwing it, it was in tight windows. He threw 2 interceptions. The first one was an awful throw. The second one, clearly a miscommunication. DK didn't finish the route. The DB basically played the route and ran it for him. Those are things that the Seahawks, you just can't have happen.
That was the second down for what it's worth. But yes.
Oh, the second down?
That was the second interception. Both interceptions actually were second down interceptions.
Okay. So, yeah. But the bigger point was, not to bring it into second down, was that they need to have 2 or 3 guys that maybe aren't at the sticks. See if they can make a guy miss. That's your hope. You have some talented receivers that DK's physical, so you know he's not going to go down on the first attempt. Tyler Lockett, he might be able to get a little wiggle. JSN, definitely. Ken Walker, physical. So depending on third and length, have a couple of guys short of the sticks. Not everyone should be running to the sticks and in hopes that someone will get open, because when no one's open, now what do? You have no options. You're screwed. And if the Seahawks continue to have third down issues, that might be something that pops up consistently. Also, protection. Are guys doing their assignments and protecting the quarterback? Is Geno holding the ball too long? All these things come into play, and it's just become an issue. And the good news is it can be fixed. It's not a damn, we have a terrible quarterback situation. It's okay, we just need to execute and hit on our plays. If we can do that, if we can have guys get open, making plays, I think this is going to be resolved. But if this continues and the play calling isn't where it needs to be, then this could become a serious problem. And before you know it, the Seahawks are not even in the playoffs. Meanwhile, you look at the Rams, they seem to have figured things out.
Oh, did they win again today?
They played the Cardinals, but they won 26-9.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be quite interesting to see how the Seahawks handle the Cardinals. That is not a good football team, but they fight. They're not going to give up. You think they're just going to lay down and let you win? No, they're going to go out there and compete. And if the Seahawks don't come prepared for that matchup, if they're not executing on third downs, if they're not getting – to be honest, I just don't foresee any other issues. But third down has consistently been one for the first 5 games for the Seahawks. Third down has been an issue. If they're not going to be able to do that, don't be surprised at what happens when you don't convert on third downs and you're left to kick field goals and rely on Jason Myers to make 60-yarder, 55-yarders week in and week out. You got to put touchdowns on the board. You have an explosive offense, as you hinted at. First and second down, they're top in the league. But on third down, for whatever reason, everything falls apart. They're inconsistent here. They're not executing there. That can't happen. And if that's going to be the formula for this team, they will not reach their goals of being a Super Bowl contender. They will be bounced probably in the wild card. It's really that simple. If you're on the field, if you're not on the field on third, if you're getting off the field on third downs, it's tough for you to win games. Not to mention your quarterback throws 2 interceptions. That also doesn't help. But the best part is the defense. I mean, we're probably going to get to that later on with a lot of our Twitter questions, but the defense did their part. And I can't remember how many times we have said that in years prior where defense did their job, Geno couldn't really save the day. And that's what you need from him. If he's going to be proven, if he wants to prove that he's that guy, this is a game where Geno just got to suck it up and find a way. Find a way to win the game, whether it's with your legs. And we saw that. He scrambled a few times on Sunday against the Bengals. He was able to get out of the pocket, and I think he made a scramble 5 times, if I'm not mistaken, for 20 yards or something. He was able to do that, but he has to do more of it, especially if he wants to be the guy. He said all the right things in the post game. When I forgot who asked about the interception to DK, he took sole responsibility. He could have easily said, nah, man, DK ran the wrong route, or he didn't run the route, but he didn't do that. So he's saying all the right things. He just needs to now do it. And obviously, it's not all on him. Play calling has to be executed well. O-line got to help out. And then it's Geno. It's a 3-part process.
And
play call,
some coaching too, yeah.
Yeah, play call, protection, and Geno. Obviously, receivers got to do what they do because, as you always hint, Mike, they got a couple of jobs to do. Get open and catch the football. You do those 2 things, you'll be all right.
Yep.
It's not that I don't think they dropped too many passes. I'm not remembering anything off top, but
I think DK should have caught the deep ball in the first.
okay,
That was it.
So feet weren't in, but yes, he needs to catch it. So he needs to. Yes, you're right. I forgot about that one. The fade ball on the left hand side. He has to catch that.
DB did a good job getting in there, but
no, DK is 6'4", and you know what? Another
I don't care
interest.
how tall he is. It's a strength.
I
thing.
do because they talked about it. You tweeted it when what's his name was talking about DK not going up for passes. He knows what he's going to do. DK, bro, you are 6'4". You gotta start exposing that body. I know you've seen it in warmups. Hell, we've all seen it. He's doing the OBJ catches. Okay, we need you to do that in games, man. Corners are not calling you out saying you're not jumping up. It's either going to be a comeback. It's body catches. They know what you want to do. They know you're not showing off your vertical. I need you to show off your vertical. I need to see it. That sideline catch would have been a perfect example. He tries to body catch it. Doesn't go his way. As you mentioned, the cornerback did a really good job of basically pinning him to the sideline. But if DK goes up with both hands and snags and gets his feet in, we're not even having this discussion. Not even having this discussion. So I know I just went off on like a different tangent, but the offense definitely is having some issues. I'm not completely worried, but I'm 50-50. I can see where Mike's at with it, and then I see some optimism. And hopefully, do you know any updates on Abe Lucas? I mean, shoot. He should be back next week, right? Hopefully.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't. All we've had on that is Pete, and I think we've covered extensively that Pete is the least trustworthy coach on injuries, particularly Abe's injury, where that's the one that he never called an injury.
Yeah,
and he went out of his way to not call an injury, and then ultimately for Abe to land on IR. So I don't know when Abe will be back.
Okay, well that doesn't help. That doesn't help the offensive line, but they got to figure something out. Jake Curhan was getting beat a little bit too often, and they got to figure something out. Jake either going to get it done, or who they got on the practice squad? Is it Peter still there? What's his name, Mike?
Yeah, Jason Peters is still there, yeah.
Jason Peters. So if they want to make a move now, they might have to do it. Do they give Jake another opportunity as the Cardinals? Sure. But there's got to be some consistency. You can't keep getting beat in big time, whether it's third down, fourth down. We need you to be solid. Or not we. The Seahawks need you to be solid. Excuse me.
Let's see. What did I want to look up earlier? Oh, the Bengals were just like an average red zone team, by the way, on defense. So it's not like they ran into a great team. Yeah. My worry definitely, one of my big worries is the designs of some of these plays. They're just taking too long, like you said. Like I thought that the second one, the first one they failed, I think he ends up checking it to DJ Dallas, was a good example. Like, I don't know how much you guys could see on the broadcast, but on that particular play, it's like everyone's going vertical. It's only 3rd and 3 too, and it's a bunch of vertical routes. DK runs like a deep over. Jackson runs one on top of him, and then Tyler just is like vertical on the far side of the field. Now, this is also a good example of like everything that's been going wrong with their third downs as well. Because even if DK gets open on that play, which he had a chance, man, Phil Haynes got beat real bad on this by someone I don't think is who Phil Haynes should be getting beat by, who's number 96. Cam Sample. I don't have enough data on him to say whether he should be beating Phil or not, so I won't misspeak there. But yeah, like you got a play call I don't like because it takes too long. The only thing you have short of the sticks is DJ, but he's not in a position to get in the yak. And then doesn't even matter because your left guard gets beat right across his face to the quarterback. I think that play was a really good summation. Again, we could go through all of them, but I don't think that the play calling is helping. And the protection. The protection is a real issue because it's not even. It's weird because Jake played really well against like Aiden Hutchinson, who's a baller.
Yeah.
But since then, you're just seeing guys just get right by him. Like not even with some special stuff like Kayvon Thibodeau was just rolling right by him in the Giants game today on what was that fourth? It was 4th and goal, not the final play, the drive before that. Geno's trying to wind up, let it go, I believe, to Lockett on like a whip route, looks like in the end zone, another long developing route. And then he just gets beat. Just gets beat straight to Geno. I think that was Hubbard another guy who's like, all right, you cool, but you're not Trey Hendrickson or nothing. Like, not to say Hubbard's a slouch, but it's like you should beat that guy. So yeah, I that's why I'm so worried, because there's every play is like it's more than one thing. It's something different. And then I don't know if Geno had many bad balls today on third down. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but in general there have been some as well. So and I don't know if it will regress to the mean in time, in enough time to be where they want to be. Like by the time they fix it, I don't know, is it Christmas, is it Thanksgiving? Because it's not as if they don't notice an issue, but yeah, it's something new each time. The communication not there. So yeah, man, just a really, and I know it's so bad because I'd be wanting to ask these guys about third down. It was like, I feel like I'm asking the same question every week. What's wrong on third down? Oh, we got to execute. What's wrong on third down? Oh, we got to execute. I could put together a whole highlight reel of them, me asking that and that being the answer. So eventually I just have to accept, hey, these guys, it's not good at this. I do think that, yeah, the change in the style of plays will be probably the only fix that they can do, because you can't really max protect that much on third down.
No,
like
Mike, you can't.
But
if you max protect, that means everyone is blocking but your pass catchers, which are receivers. So your tight ends are protecting and your running backs. You'd only have DK, Lockett, and depending on the formation, JSN out there running routes. Last time I checked, 3-on-4, the math ain't mathing. Unless you got Tyreek Hill on your team, you can't do that. They don't have Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle where they can say, you know what? You might have 4 guys out there. We're still going to find a way for him to get open. Whether they're going to do a drag route, catch it, and just make a guy miss and run for 30 yards, or they're going to beat the coverage by themselves. The Seahawks, unfortunately, DK would be your best bet, but he's more straight line speed, and it takes time for him to develop. For example, I wish I had my iPad, but there was a play where DK, he had just got mad because he didn't get the ball. He is running a crossing pattern, but the time it takes for him to cross the field, Geno's already getting sacked. That is an example of trying to wait. Okay, it's time to, okay, where is he at? He's not there. I'm trying to throw it. Sack or pressure. Ball's incomplete. Those are things that, in that scenario, I think they might have had Will Dissly blocking. Kenneth Walker wasn't going out. And the time for that play to develop, it didn't work out because there was a lot of coverage, 4 guys covering.
Third down?
I believe it was third down. If maybe you pulled it up already, but
yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah,
because Mike is great at what he does. Here's the clip. All right, I'm just running it. Obviously, running it through. You're probably like, "Well, Chris, what'd you show us?" All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pause it right here. So the Seahawks, they got JSN at the top of your screen there. At the bottom, you got DK, you got Lockett. Then you got, I believe that's Fant.
Yeah.
Okay? Noah Fant, and then Ken Walker right there next to him. If I'm not mistaken, how many DBs we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 5 DBs. So they're probably in their nickel package. Obvious passing down. 3rd and 11. Okay? DK is sprinting down the sideline, but it just takes too long. DK is going to have to come across the field. I want to say it's a 15, 17-yard dig route, which is an in route, and you'll see it. You can see DK striding up the sideline as fast as he can, but the O-line just can't contain. Hell, you even see Noah Fant give somewhat of a chip. Not the greatest one, but hey, throws him off, and Geno's waiting, doesn't have time. And then if you look at the bottom, the top of your screen, that's DJ Dallas, excuse me. DJ Dallas is in the flat, and it's not going to get it done. Everybody is going past and beyond the sticks. Look at the sticks. You see the first down, ladies and gentlemen? There is not a soul. There is no one. Noah Fant is probably your best bet, and his back is to Geno. So no one is looking at the ball right now. Now, obviously, I don't have the all-22. So
no, keep it going. It rolls.
It rolls. So
yeah. They did a good job of that on the CBS broadcast.
Still rolling.
22 looks.
So we're going to see another look at it. I'm going to let it roll through. But unfortunately, there's a sack. The play just took too long to develop. Nope. Oh, here it is. So, yeah, as I said, here's the route. You see DK running it, and there's just not enough time. Tyler is not even looking yet. He is running a deep post, as Mike alluded to not too long ago. Some of these routes are just taking too long. And if that's going to be the case, Geno's going to get sacked. And then you have DJ Dallas as your, maybe this guy. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if DJ is your best bet on third downs. I know he's in there to protect. But in this scenario, you're trying to get a first down. You got to put your best guys out there that can get you at least the first down. And I don't know if DJ is a part of that. Now, if the Seahawks wanted to, I don't really have an answer for you on that. But I think they have to, you got to put your best guys out there. Like, I'm going to pause it right here and look where everyone's at. JSN is just now turning his head. So, to be honest, if Geno is filtering quicker through his reads, he has JSN open. There's a possibility he can laser that in there for a comeback and JSN catches it. There's also a potential that the DB makes a play on the football. He's right there. He's slamming on the brakes too. There's not a lot open. There's just not. And then let's say, Chris, but Geno could just throw it right now before DK even gets to the break. Well, for one, there's a linebacker right there. So the chances are he's probably going to pick that off. And if you're going to try to throw it to lock it on this post, the safety is going to rotate right over to it. There's just not a lot there. You want to risk everything for no reward. It's probably going to be broken up. And guess what you're doing? You're going off the field. So I don't know what Geno's supposed to do here, but there's not much for him to do other than take the sack. I mean, he tries running, but there's nowhere to go. So thank you, Mike, for getting that clip, because I think that just illustrates what you and I both had discussed early on in this episode.
Yeah, I think last thing on before we get to questions, it's really, there are some quarterbacks who I feel like can elevate, I don't want to say elevate is the word there, but it's like play above some of the bad circumstances. Not consistently, because that's pretty hard, but we've seen it sometimes. We've seen Mahomes do it. We've seen Josh Allen do it. And maybe we've seen Joe Burrow do it with some of his bad O-lines. We've seen Lamar Jackson do it with like bad play calling and slow receivers and stuff. Even Justin Herbert last year, they were so banged up. O-line, receivers, he was still to do his thing. So we've seen guys do it to some extent where it's just like, all right, the things around me, every once in a while, I'm just going to have to be Superman to make it happen, whether that's in the red zone, whether that's third down, whether that's on the fourth quarter drive, whatever it is. Sometimes the guys just got to like be better than the parts around them. I don't feel confident in Geno's ability to consistently do that. Particularly in these long situations, in these third, and obviously we got to throw types. Like it's just tough. It's a tough ask of anyone, but I never really saw. I think we can all agree. I don't think we've even if you're like super high on Geno, high on him in that regard is not it. Like we even saw that last year when he had a good year. When the run game wasn't there or like the protection wasn't there, it wasn't like this is the jump on my back. I'm about to carry us to the promised land. Usually, every time we look at like a game-winning or some good Geno plays, this usually the supporting cast has done his part. Guy held his block. Guy got his chip. Guy ran a good route. Guy ran one-on-one. Like there's too much to consistently overcome in some of these situations. So everyone just has to be better, and then the quarterback got to be better with some of this too. But yeah, I think the couple plays or that play, Chris, I just grabbed for you, is really good illustration of somehow how the coaches can help too. It's like, bro, DK probably covered on that route like 40 yards. It's like, I don't know how, even if you love your protection, that's just asking a lot of your guys. That's pretty far. Let me see. Actually, I can see on next gen stats. Yeah, DK ran 47 yards on that play. Starting to learn.
And I know before I brought that play up, I know we were talking about, because you mentioned the fact about max protection and what that means and how that means basically your tight ends and running backs are blocking. On that scenario, it was just a 4-man rush. DJ Dallas went out. You saw Noah Fant gave a little chip. So there wasn't a max protection. Now, if they did do max protection, Noah Fant's not going out for a route, and neither is DJ. So now you have, what is it? I said 5 DBs out there covering all that space. So the chances are the play is still incomplete because Geno still has nowhere to go with the football. So even in that scenario, there was just nothing short. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they were in man with a middle linebacker in the middle, and you had your safety up top. So neither here nor there. That's my last tidbit on that. You ready to get to some Twitter questions, Mike?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
We got a lot of them. So thank you, all of y'all, for your Twitter questions. We appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and start with some DM Twitter questions that we received. And this first one comes from Mike's homie, Adam. This one states, "This is the best I felt about the Seahawks. as a whole for at least 5 years. Is that crazy after a loss?
Yeah, that's a little crazy. I don't think like you can feel good for what it's worth. A lot of guys in the locker room still feel like genuinely good. Like
Let me guess, it's everybody on defense.
it's both. Like I ended my story that came out today with a quote from DJ Dallas where he was like, "Yeah, we got championship experience today. Like we went up against, we seen what a Super Bowl runner up looks like, and we seen they ain't all that for real. You know, we can be one of the best teams in the league. You know, we got the coach, got the quarterback, got the defense. You know, we can do it. So like that's from DJ was very confident. Some other guys, particularly on defense, said something similar. Not really on the record, but just like we'll be all right. We trust the offense. We know we're gonna hold it down. Everybody's healthy now, so like we locked in, which will get to defense with some of the questions. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. I think it's just so tough to be good, to be bad situationally, and be a great team. You can be all right. The Seahawks are 3-2. Like they're good. They're a good team. Probably still have a positive point differential after this. Like good team. But to be a great team, I think you just can't. You can't be bad situationally. Because when you look in the playoffs, that's what matters. It's 3rd and 7. We on the road. Crowd's going crazy. We need a bucket. Or I guess, we need a first down. But I like calling it a bucket. It feels cooler. Like we need a bucket. Ain't get no buckets. You gotta have stuff you can rely on to get buckets. And that's the other part that's concerning too. Is like there's just nothing. There's no go-tos right now. It seems like whatever the other team is, the defense is forcing Seattle's hand offensively in situational football rather than the inverse. And again, they have too much talent. Even without Abe Lucas, they have still too much talent for that to be the issue.
This next one comes for the homie Shiv. Seahawks just held 1B, second best quarterback probably in the NFL, and best wide receiver room in the league to under 200 yards while giving up 40 odd rushing yards. I'm gonna ask you again: do the Seahawks have a real defense?
Yeah, I think so. And it's weird because the Bengals, you basically have to look at the Bengals just through the lens of the last 2 weeks because Joe with one leg in the games prior to this, or games prior to the Cardinals, he was fine against the Cardinals. So every game prior to that, he was just a statue. It was pretty bad. Like now, as you guys can see, he can move a little bit. He's not like Lamar Jackson or nothing, but he can move. So this version of the Bengals offense is deadly. Like, these guys are good, and the Seahawks had answers. 17 points. Like if you give up 17 points every week, you should win. Like that you should win. You should win games. Like that was really, really, really good. If you give up 17 points and get a turnover, you should definitely win.
Yeah, that's right. Trey Brown.
Yeah, great play by Trey, getting his head around. He's balling. He's balling. Like I think he's got a pick in every game he's played. I can't remember. Can't remember if he played against the Rams in the opener or not. But either way, I think Trey's balling. So I think the defense is real. I think the pass rush is real because of the coverage too. Like you're seeing guys win. Like Draymond Jones's win was really good.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
Jay Reed's one of the better interior pass rushers in the league this year. I think it's real. They just needed everybody to get healthy. That was the thing. Like we seen a glimpse of it when Jamal played those 9 snaps against the Giants, but then it's the Giants. So like, what can we really extrapolate from that? But then no, look what look how they just played the Bengals on the road. Like they was locked in. The Bengals were terrible on 3rd down today. The Bengals couldn't run the ball today. Like they wanted to throw on the Seahawks and couldn't consistently after those first 2 drives or whatever it was. Yeah. They were just. It's crazy. I feel like I jinxed the Bengals. I tweeted out Joe's numbers. He was like 13 of 15 for 123 and 2 touches, and after that, he was just awful. Maybe not awful, like playing good deep. The pick by Trey was a good play. The PBU by Trey on the final 3rd down was big. Yeah. Reek kind of figured out Jamar likes to do that side swipe move. Was able to just stay on that. Bringing Quandre down on some of those 3rd downs, get him near the action was smart. You got Spoon. Yeah, they were good. They were good. Jamal, good open field tackle on the 3rd and 1,000,000 in the 4th quarter to get him the ball back. They were locked in, man. And you look who's around. Look who I'm naming. These are the guys they haven't played all together. They played one game together against one of the better offenses you'll see in terms of weaponry, and just did really, 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 really well. So I think the defense is real.
This next one comes from Roger Vanu. The secondary played well, as you just alluded to, Mike, with not Devontae Adams. Geez Louise, what is going on? With Jamal Adams back and Trey Brown doing his thing, how do the Seahawks Actually, do the Seahawks keep Witherspoon at nickel? Something I mentioned last week. What do you think of that, Mike?
I'm not a big fan of the rotating DBs thing,
Oh God, no, I'm not
but
either.
but I understand. I do think how they played it today is probably what you have to do going forward. And today they're starting, like Jamal came out a few times, mostly just because he was on a pitch count, not like injury or anything. He's fine. So just get that out the way. But like their normal defense was basically nickel is their base, right? So you have Spoon on the left, Reek on the right, Julian, Quandre, and then Jamal as the nickel. But then they had some packages where you take Julian off the field, you put Trey Brown on the field, you move Spoon to nickel, and then Jamal goes back to just like normal safety role. I think that's the rotation you got to have if they want to fully commit to a lineup of Trey, Spoon, Reek, Jamal, and Quandre. I'm okay with that as well, but I do like some of those Jamal at nickel snaps because as you can see, when Jamal's near the line, he's a good tackler. He's just a fiery dude. But like when he's right there by the action, he's really really solid. That gives him the option to blitz a little more naturally too when he's in the nickel spot. He could blitz as the safety, but it's just a lot easier. I feel like if you do it when he's in the nickel lineup, basically. So I think the way they did it today is how it's got to be going forward with everyone healthy. You can't. I just don't think you can commit to not playing Trey. Like I just think that would just be a bad idea. Trey can play. There's no good reason to be like, yeah, man, I get odd man out. But at the same time, I do feel a little bit better about Julian playing. I think he's been a little better since the rough start to the year he had pre-Giants. So yeah, I think today's rotation is how you got to do it, and you can adjust that based on matchups or whatever. The Bengals don't really use like a fullback, so maybe against those teams, maybe you switch that up a little bit when teams go heavier. The Bengals are a little bit more finesse in that regard, but yeah, I think the rotation today. I think the only person you're like really odd man out is probably Michael Jackson. Unfortunately, this is just like the wrong team to be on as a DB for him. It's just like, bro, this DB room is full of guys making plays, dog. Like, these guys are really solid, bro. Like there was a play today. I know this is long-winded. Last thing on this. There was a play today, dog. Man, Jamar has that ball smooth in his hands, and here just comes Spoon out of nowhere. Boom. Punches that joint out. I'm like, yeah, man. You have to. This lineup is what you got to do. That kind of rotation. And Julian Love said it after the game. He's like, look, there's a lot of talented DBs. That means I'm not going to play all the time. I'm glad he's mature enough to understand that because that'd be a tough thing to swallow because he's used to playing every snap. But nah, this DB room is pretty solid. So yeah, how they rotated today is how I would do it.
This next one comes from Young Slick X. When Kobe comes back, for those wondering, we're talking about Kobe Bryant. Would it be crazy for the Seahawks to have Kobe take Julian Love's spot?
Crazy is probably not the word. I just wouldn't do it. Like, I think that's a very valid question because then you're just like, well, damn, what do we do with Kobe now when he's healthy? He's on IR, so he has to miss at least 4 games. So this isn't something that would really come up for at least a month anyway. However, I understand the question. Fair question. I would not call it crazy. I just wouldn't do it. I think because there's a few reasons, but I think the main one that's important here is, like I said, Kobe has to miss 4 games, right? At least. That would mean, let's say everyone stays healthy. That would mean this group that we have now will have played like 5-ish games together. Will have built some chemistry. They will probably be playing at a very high level. Then you just interrupt that. I don't want to interrupt that. I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to tinker with it. Some guys just gonna have to be really good backups. That's just kind of the name of the game when you got a bunch of good DBs like that. That's kind of what it is right now. So, but yeah, I wouldn't wait a month from now. You get Kobe back. It's like, all right, cool. Now let's bench Julian because yeah, I would anticipate at that point Julian will be part of one of the better secondaries in the league, which is what I think these guys are going to be. I just think they got the horses, they got the scheme, and they have the complementary pass rush too, particularly from the interior. I think Jay Reed's going to really get to cooking in these next few games, and Boye is a monster off the edge too. I just think it's all working together right now really well.
All right, this next one comes from Kale Morton. If DK runs the full route, does the corner still get that interception? And also, well, we kind of covered that. So I'll let you go with that one, Mike. If DK runs that full route, does the corner still intercept the pass?
Yeah, I think one before I get to the specifics of that, I do think like when we're talking about DK's maturity, which comes up quite a bit because he keeps getting fined and pushing guys after the play and blah blah blah. I will say he's got to fix that. However, his answer here was really mature. Like I gotta if we give him flack for the bad answers, like the one about Akello in week one. Give you credit for the a mature answer. Today was like, yeah, he specifically told me it was like that was not my like you can almost hear him leaning into my phone when he said it. Like that was my fault, not on Geno whatsoever. Which is good because Geno took the blame as well. It's just good accountability all around. I thought that was notable. On Geno's part too, Geno was really refreshing in that regard, like in relative to Russ. When Russ was just playing, when Russ plays bad, it was just kind of word salady. When Geno was just like, I got to be better. Simple. He's like, put everything on me. I point thumbs, not fingers. I think I said that saying wrong, but you guys get what I'm saying. So as it pertains to the interception, yeah, I actually don't think it matters much. I think if DK finishes the route, it gets picked. I think if when he stops, it gets picked. Because like DK said, Cam Taylor-Britt was running the route for him. That's bad. He undercut it. So yeah, I think your best case scenario there was DK punching the ball away from Cam, which yeah, obviously that's better than an interception. But ultimately, I think even if he keeps running, that's probably an interception either way. But I like how DK did own up to that because yeah, he hasn't always done that. That Akello answer I thought was not good from week one about why he pushed him or whatever because that was terrible. But yeah, today it was like, yeah, it's my fault. Here's what I was thinking on that play. Here's what happened. Don't blame Geno. That's on me.
This next one comes from Tyler. JSN got some looks today. It was good seeing that. Is that an indication of the fact that the offensive line is getting healthier and they don't have to run as many plays with two tight end sets?
Yeah, the O line's it's kind of healthy. It's still down a couple guys, but yes and no. I really can't emphasize enough how it's not just as simple as the Seahawks use two tight ends so JSN doesn't get the ball. Teams are scheming away Jackson Smith and Jigba in some of these instances. And then when he's been getting the ball in these short yardage or these short situations, he hasn't been maximizing it. Like today, it was a good example. He got a dump to him. I think he made a guy miss and then got tapped, got like 4 yards, something like that. Stuff like that. I think another good example is he had a catch today, I think on 3rd and 1,000,000 for like 13 yards down to get him closer to the goal line for a more manageable 4th down. That's almost like the exact same play that they were going for on Geno's interception against, I want to say the Rams. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like 3rd and long. Geno's trying to throw it was against the Panthers. It was against the Panthers. And
Okay, yep.
picked off by the linebacker.
Yeah, they're running 4 verts.
Yeah, he's just trying to throw it to Jackson real quick so he can run and catch it. Like,
yeah,
that makes sense. What happens today? He throws it real quick to Jackson. He runs and catches it. Like, I don't think the two tight end thing is the sole reason. Like, a lot of teams use two tight ends. But I think more of it is that when they are in 11 personnel, they haven't been as good. They're like an okay 11 personnel team, but they just happen to be an elite 12 personnel team. So I think they just need to be better at using him. And it's not just the scheme too. They can get open better and all this stuff too. But I think today was just what happens when they're just better out of the personnel groupings that he's in. It isn't just like, two tight ends because our O-line stinks, so Jackson doesn't get the ball. No, man, they're throwing to him plenty. You think he has nearly as many. He came into this game with only 3 fewer targets than DK. Now that's going to change a little bit because DK got credited for twice as many as him today. But I think just in general, they're using him. It's not about not getting the looks. It's just being better with the looks that he is getting. So I do think getting healthier, up front will matter because some of the times that they've schemed him up in games prior to this, the protection just wasn't there. So I think today was not like some magical, they opened up the JSN playbook. I just think they executed the plays better that they had for him. Because if you go back and look at the film of their games before this, they had plays just like, oh, clearly number 11 is the first read. And then, oh, Geno's got pressure, so he's got to run or throw it away or whatever.
This next one comes from Elliot Greason. Do you think more two tight end sets would have helped Geno down in the red zone?
No, not really. I think so. The red zone stuff, it's a few issues. One is running the ball. You got to run the ball a lot better in the red zone. I don't have their EPA numbers in front of me in the red zone. I can maybe look it up when Chris reads the next question. But that's one problem. If you just run it down there, it doesn't really matter. The other thing is I don't think they maximize the space in the red zone very well. Because the red zones are obviously shrunken, right? Like it's a shrunken part of the field. You only got so many yards you can work with. You can't run only but so many concepts. First thing they need to do is ban the speed out or the little sprint out thing. That's a terrible. I don't know why anybody does that. We see it in college too. I think like Oregon just ran it in the UW game on Saturday. Like we see teams do it. I just hate it. I just don't. The field's already cut. Why are you gonna cut it some more? It's such an easy play to defend too. So yeah. Anyway, so cut that out. And the other thing is they're not using the space above the receivers as well. If you guys get what I'm saying, like you see in the red zone, you see a lot of like back of the end zone seam balls to like tight ends. You see fades, like balls that go up, and you guys have to go get them. These guys don't really do any of that. They're just counting on guys to win one-on-one, a lot of underneath stuff, shallows, fades, sticks, whatever, stuff like that. And those are just easier to defend, particularly if you got like an aggressive defense, like guys who get their hands on guys. It's a lot easier to defend a guy running across the field like that if you can get your hands on him a little bit. Whereas if you throw it up and you get your hands on him, ref's probably going to call that. So I think, and they have tall guys too. I don't know why they don't do it more. Like Colby's what, 6'7" or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Noah's a tall, athletic dude.
6'5", right?
Yeah, all the tight ends are just generally, usually tall dudes. So you got your tight ends you could use. You got Bobo. You got DK. I think that they have to take more advantage of using the entire end zone. It feels like it's really only ever used in its entirety when Tyler Lockett is doing a toe tap. Those are like probably the only really, really good examples of like, they're using all of the space, like above, like everything, stretching out the end zone a little bit in that regard. So will the two tight ends help? I don't think so, because I think the bigger issue is how they're scheming some of this stuff up. And protection. Protection is the issue with everything for the most part. But, I don't think the personnel groupings are as big of an issue as, like, use some of this to your advantage. Like, speed only helps you so much in the red zone. But, what can help you is height and strength and guys who can locate the ball. And they have that. So I think they should use them. Like Jake Bobo's catch. Who did he catch a touchdown against? I forget who that was.
What was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was at home. I can't remember who it was.
It was the Panthers. It was the Panthers or yeah.
Yeah, let's go with that. Doesn't really matter. But I think that is the type of play they should do more often. I know that was like a little trickier, but taking advantage of how big, guys are. Yeah, that was the Panthers. So take advantage of some of that. Take advantage of the athleticism because your speed doesn't matter. So you can't use it there. So no, I don't think just two tight ends will help.
This next one comes from Ted Jones. What's going on with the constant runs on 2nd and 10? Is there some sort of philosophy for that I'm not aware of? Seems like they always get a stop for no gain or short gain, and then the Seahawks are 3rd and long. Yeah, so I actually looked this one up because I was curious. It feels feels like one of those things that you see it once or twice and you're like, damn, this is always happening. When in reality, it's probably not happening that much. So they've had 2nd and 10 24 times. They've called 8 design runs in those situations. So not like a crazy number. They throw it about twice. Let's see. That'd be 3. Oh, excuse me. I'm doing way too much math on the show. Either way, they pass it a lot more than they run it in those situations. I will say it's a little bit philosophy in that you really don't want to throw incomplete. Sometimes OCs are afraid of that. Like, damn, if this is incomplete, now we're guaranteed to be in 3rd and long. Whereas, shoot, if we can just get 4 right here, we're in 3rd and medium, which is 3rd and 6 or to 4 yards. So that it's half philosophy, half of also no, they're not just running it all the time on 2nd and 10. They've only done it 8 times. Now I just looked at that number as just 2nd and 10. I haven't seen like 2nd and any longer, but the thinking is pretty similar. It's like, man, the incompletion is really going to kill us right now. And the issue with the Seahawks is they're still not a very good yak team. They're like, okay. They're not like bottom of the league like they used to be, but they're not really good at naturally getting guys moving. And when you do that, there's not a lot of easy completions in your offense. So, I think
that's all factoring in. So it's kind of philosophy, but also, yeah, they're not really just running it down the team's throats on 2nd and 10 a bunch.
This next one comes from Brant J. Why do you think the offensive game plans are so up and down?
I just think that's the NFL, really. You got to remember, teams script out their first few plays. I remember saying that to the guys in the press box today when the Seahawks went and scored and the Bengals came right back and scored. I said something to the effect of, yeah, like now the game's about to start because everybody's first few plays can look great. You've been working on them. Those you got all the favorite plays you like. You're feeling out the defense, forcing them to make some adjustments. But I think I don't think the play calling itself is all that inconsistent. I feel like I have a good feel, as do teams, unfortunately, for what Shane Waldron and those guys are trying to accomplish. They know, like, hey, we got to keep a lid on things. And the rare times that we do want to press up on guys, we need our corners to win, or we need to get to Geno. And you kind of seen that backfire on these guys quite a bit today. When they did get their one-on-ones, guys were winning on some of those like pressed up routes. Tyler got one. I think DK got one. DK dropped another, but he had him beat on that route. So teams are kind of afraid to press up on these guys, which makes sense. I wouldn't press up on them either. So I think the general thing that they want to do, use the tight ends a lot, get downhill in the running game. It doesn't look like they do much like outside zone as much as they did before, particularly in Shane's first year. So they're trying to be powerful up the middle. They're not going to do a lot of play action from under center, just here and there. Like the idea is pretty consistent. It's just the execution of it, but everything looks bad when you're not converting on 3rd down. So, yeah, I don't think it's not like Shane's forgetting how to call plays midway through these games or nothing. I think a lot of teams, if you looked after you put it this way, you want to assess an offense, assess it after the first drive. If they've scripted their first 15 plays or whatever, and they use 10 of them on the first drive, all right, now look at the coordinator and see how he adjusts to the adjustment that the other team is doing. And I think Shane's been okay. I think he's okay play caller, but there's some pretty glaring issues with how they're attacking teams, particularly like we've been talking about damn near all show on 3rd down.
This next one comes from @Maher's Bar. With the run game struggling with Ken Walker, why did the Seahawks not give it to Charbonnet more?
Yeah, I don't think this is fair in terms of like if you just look at the numbers. I think Ken ran it like 19 times or something, and Zach got it like twice. I really don't think there was going to be a scenario where Zach just magically was out there killing it and Ken couldn't get it done. This was really a blocking issue. It felt like today. It just felt like it was not. They were not winning up front consistently enough, no matter who was the running back. And I think Ken had some negative runs, but it didn't feel like, and Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, if I'm forgetting a play or two, but there didn't seem to be a ton of, damn, Ken, there you go dancing again. Like the negative plays seemed to just be like, damn, ain't nothing there. Like, and there probably would have been some more negatives if Ken didn't make some people miss like he tends to do. He turned a couple, I think, negative or no gain stuff into some positives a few times. So, yeah, I don't think, and I haven't talked to like Chad Morton, the running backs coach who's in charge of the rotations, but that would probably be the answer. It's like, it's not as if things are just going to get blocked up a lot better for Zach,
Yeah. The next one comes from the Seahawks, Ari. Will the Seahawks offensive problem be somewhat solved with a healthy offensive line?
Yeah. So a lot solved, actually. I think because really only takes one weak link. That's the thing about an O-line. You can have the best left tackle in the world, the best left guard in the world, the best center in the world, and the best right guard in the world. Now you can legitimately have all pros at all 4 spots. If your right tackle is bad, you're cooked. It's really that simple. Like, because if he gets beat, the whole thing is cooked. And yeah, I think just being healthier up there will be very, 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 very helpful. Like a lot. Because there is just some execution stuff that is really as simple as guys are getting beat. And it's not just that as Jake or even Anthony Bradford today. Like it was a couple where Phil Haynes just got beat.
Goodness. Oh,
yeah. Oh, were they showing that on the broadcast?
So yeah, well, I saw it live. I said, damn, Phil. Yeah, as soon as so it was right before halftime. It was going to be a corner.
Yeah, that was
and he was butt naked. I could have made the throw if there's protection. And One dog. Oh, he's sacked. Oh, okay. We'll go to half. That was it.
Yeah, so there's been a few of those. And yeah, I think Bradford had his too. Like it just was not a solid day. I thought Charles was fine. I think Evan's actually been pretty good most of the year, honestly. Evan's a strong cat.
Center. Yep.
Yeah, Evan Brown, stronger than a lot of centers they've had. It feels like. Just off the top of my head, that's when I watch him live. I'm like, oh yeah, 63 is a pretty stout guy. But man, yeah, they've had some really big blunders. And I mean, defenders get paid too, so it is what it is. But yeah, I think it'll help. Having Charles and Abe, as long as Abe Lucas's knee is cool, I think is going to help a lot. They missed D-Lou, I thought today. Yeah, just some bad protection breakdowns over the last few weeks. As good as the Lions game was, for the backup tackles, like I thought that was really admirable. It has not been as consistent. Like it's to this point, it's been like, okay, cool, but where's Abe? It's like, okay, cool, but where's Charles? Like, and that's no knock to Stone and Jake and even the other guys they've had backing up. But these guys are starters for a reason, right? So I think, yes, some better protection will help quite a bit because it seems very clear that Shane, they like to dial stuff up like some long developing stuff. That's just their bag. For better or worse, I don't think that's changing. So if you're going to have those type of designs and Geno's going to stand in there and trust the protection, it has to be good. So they're not until I don't think Shane's going to get to the point where he calls plays as if the tackles aren't good. You know what I'm saying? Because you see some teams doing that. They're like, yo, this ball is coming out because we know we're not going to have time. That just kind of is what it is. I don't see the Seahawks getting to that point.
This next one comes from Jeff M. Is DK going to grow up? I know it's harsh, but man, hard to watch.
Yeah, so this is in reference to DK getting another post-play flag. This time it was DK pushing Cam Taylor-Britt after the play, getting a 15-yard roughness call. So I asked DK about that. To be transparent, I'll say the way I phrased the question. I said, hey, did that dude say something to you before you pushed him? He was like, no. He said, the problem with that is, he was like, yeah, and it happened. He said, it came up in the Giants game. He said, 40 yards downfield, and the ref who I'm closest to doesn't blow the whistle. So I am blocking as if the play is still going because I don't hear a whistle. So he said, that is what happened. He said that is what happened on that play. He said he went to the referee and he tried to explain that to him. The ref was like, dude, I saw the play was dead and blew the whistle. He's like, dude, I'm not. It's like, forget the play. Like, if I don't hear the whistle, I'm just going to keep blocking my man so he doesn't make the tackle. Ref obviously wasn't hearing it and, got the flag. And DK said I forget what he said exactly to me, but he was like, yeah, I got to talk to him about it. Maybe see if he'll blow his whistle next time. So I don't think it's a maturity thing. Yeah, he said I had a conversation with him and I just got to be better. So he did say that. He said I got to be better and hopefully ask him to blow the whistle when the play is over. That was DK to me after the game. Maturity is not the word I'll use here. It's awareness, which I guess you can kind of say they're synonyms in that regard, which is fine. I'm not even going to argue the semantics on that. But I do think he's got to start behaving as a guy who's not going to get the benefit of the doubt. Like, you know what, DK? Maybe you didn't hear the whistle. Not maybe. I believe you. You say you didn't hear it. That's fine. You got to understand the refs is not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. They're just not. Whether that is fair or not, literally does not matter. It does not. It's too much. He's got too much of a reputation. These refs watch the games too. So they know who you are. They know 14 be pushing dudes. They know 14 will get into it with guys. He'll be talking crap to the opponent or whatever. Like they just know 14's got the rep. Again, for better or worse, that's just the truth. Doesn't really matter whether you have a point or not. Just got to start behaving like a guy who's got eyes on. I think Bobby maybe said he told him that in like 2021 or something like that. Or maybe DK said that's what Bobby told him. I can't remember. But it feels like that point was made, I think, particularly when he got thrown out of the Giants game, or excuse me, the Packers game. The one that didn't score any points. He got thrown out for like punching a guy, I think. Like, I think after that game was when Bobby said something to the effect of like, hey, you got to know there's a spotlight on you. Maybe it needs a reminder. I don't know. Because even if he has a point on the whistle thing, no one's buying that. You lost the benefit of the doubt. You got to start acting like, all right, if you know how Chris, like you in daycare or something like that, you're in school and somebody push you, so you push them back, and then you get caught. Teacher's like, yo, you can't be pushing Billy like that. You're like, yo, Billy pushed me first. It's like, well, even if Billy pushed you first, if you're the kid that lost the benefit of the doubt, you're getting put in timeout. They calling your parents. They're not calling Billy's parents. If you're that little bad kid that's done so much other stuff, all they're gonna see is you pushing Billy back. That's it. So DK's got to not push Billy. I guess in that analogy, whoever Billy is, I don't know. I just made that up.
The one thing I'll add is, DK, I feel you. You are a physical specimen. You want to bully everybody. I'm not even mad at that. It's football. I get it. But in that scenario, watching that play, the ball is probably 40 yards away. And you told Mike verbatim, oh, I don't want him tackling whoever it is that has the ball. Nobody is getting there. The play is done. Britt is jogging. You think he's going to jog and tackle somebody? No, that's not happening. I could see if he was on a full-on sprint and you caught him and then you shove him. Okay, I feel it. That's fair. Probably not even getting flagged because it's in the play. There's a potential that he can make a play on the football. The play is 30, 40 yards away. I don't see any reason for you to do anything. I don't mind you, extending your arm out, maybe talking trash. You see it all the time. But to do what he did again, sorry, DK, I can't let you slide on that one. And again, I understand you just want to punk everybody out there. I cannot blame you. If I was in your position, I'd probably do the same thing. Hell, a great comparison. Let me go play flag football with a bunch of fifth graders. I'm going to be stiff arming them to the ground, shoving them out of bounds. Actually, you know what? The best example is the halftime games when they have the who do you hate, Mike? What are they called?
No,
the mascots. Mascots taking on the middle school kids. That's DK. But if the play is 30 yards away, are you really going to shove a kid and then get mad at the ref because you shoved said kid 30 yards away? I don't see how this doesn't make sense in my head. Now, I get it. I'm not physical. I'm not out here trying to punk everybody. So maybe that's where there's a difference. But DK, as you mentioned, you got to know that there's a laser on you. Everybody's watching you with a fine eye, waiting for you to do something. And the moment you do, flag. And as you tweeted out, he's probably going to get fined again. So that's all I got to say on that.
All right.
This next one comes from Paul Martin at P. Martin, Katy, Texas. Is DK and all the unnecessary penalties and lack of control worth it? What could they get for him at the trade deadline if they wanted to move him?
They get a lot. I don't think they should do that, but they would get a lot. Is it worth it? Yeah, I think so. I think what DK does to a defense is worth it. And I think that's what, if you had to, it's very similar to like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in like what the defense is like most worried about. Like I remember talking to people either around the team or like people in the league, like, or having my friends do it and like report back, like, all right, who are teams more afraid of? 87 or 10. This is on the Chiefs. This is like when they traded Tyreek away. And resounding answer was number 10. 10 is who scares us most. 10 is why we cover the way we cover. Like 87 is that dude, but 10 is what keeps defensive coordinators up at night. It's very similar in Seattle with Tyler and DK. Like they are both very dangerous. The teams don't want either one of them to get open, and they structure their defenses accordingly. However, for the one keeping them up, and I've done some a little poking around reporting on this, mostly just kind of like, hey, asking people who are in charge of stopping those guys. Yeah. The answer is, or people in charge of drafting the guys who have to stop those guys too. Checked in with them as well. This is over time, not just like today or anything. But yeah, the answer is number 14. They're like, we can't let 14 get the ball in his hands because he might run our guys over, and we can't really press him because he might just run by our guys. Like it's too much. It doesn't really matter who the corner is. Like DK can get by anybody. He's as fast as any corner you're going to put on him, and he's probably about 30 pounds heavier. So, and teams know that, and they are worried. And that's why when teams play the Seahawks, the person that gets shadowed is DK. I think Taylor Britt today was shadowing DK for the most part. Actually, not for the most part. I think he was. So that he's that dangerous, and he puts that type of fear in defensive court. Fear is maybe not the word, but you guys get what I'm saying. It's hard to find a guy like that. Even if you consider like Tyler more talented, that's kind of whatever, 1A, 1B. It's not really worth even diving into. But in terms of who the other team is worried about, it's kind of how I view like who's a wide receiver 1, like who the other team is worried about. They're worried about 14. So yeah, and that opens up things for everyone else in a way that that skill set is hard to replicate. So yeah, I think it's worth it. I do, but I agree with you all that it's he can't be getting all these flags because then you're just hurting the team. I don't think nobody should be hurting the team. Like I don't want to seem like I'm excusing that, but if you ask me if it's worth it for the talent that he is, yes, I think so.
This last one comes from Pedro Castro. It's simple. Can Geno deliver in the clutch?
Damn, didn't he just have a game-winning touchdown like 3 weeks ago or something? Yeah, against the Lions. That's right. Yeah, I think so. I think Geno's good enough to do that. I do, like I said earlier, I think that Geno, and I had this take last year too. Geno's probably not just a jump on my back, boys. I'm about to carry us to the promised land type guy.
Yeah.
I don't think there's that many of those guys. How many of those are in the league? Chris, what, like 4?
5? Okay, yeah. 4 or 5.
I put Mahomes in there. Like Mahomes in that Super Bowl that they lost is probably the best example because he had no O-line and he was still hitting guys in the face with the ball completely sideways and in the air. I was like, some of the best quarterback you've ever seen. So yeah, Mahomes is one of those guys. I think Josh Allen on a good day is that, but boy, Josh has some bad days too. Like yeah, like we're recording right now during Sunday Night Football, and it looks like this is another Josh bad day. But we've seen Josh be able to do it. Be like, all right, the reason that this team won today is because they had number 17. Like no one else was really in their bag but 17. Like we've seen that from him. The Ravens. I think Lamar is that guy. Whether you think he's as talented as these other guys I'm naming, I think if y'all watch enough Ravens, you'll see there's been plenty of games. It's like, yo, this O-line is bad. His receivers stink. They dropping passes, and they only got a chance to win because they got number 8. Like I've seen plenty of games like that. I think the playoff run in 2021 shows that Burrow's that type of guy who's taking a lot of sacks that weren't even his fault, and he was just like, I'm still about to just make some stuff shake. And again, I think I mentioned Herbert in that list too. We've seen Herbert have some pretty bad stuff around him and be able to cook. I could be missing somebody, but like that feels like the list, generally speaking. Like even guys who are performing at a high level now, like Purdy's and Tua's. I think guys like Purdy and guys like Tua are more in where Geno's bag is when the supporting cast is like that. He's gonna be like that. We've seen Geno be like that for real. In a lot of games. Dak has a lot of games too where it's like, oh, everyone around you's cooking. All right, you about to eat too. But it feels like Geno's more in that bucket. Like if it's time to like, hey, jump on my back, boys, we about to go. That's tough. Maybe here and there, but to consistently ask, no one can consistently do it, which is why quarterbacks be asking for help and stuff like that. Josh Allen, they Gwen got him weapons. Lamar, they've been trying to get him weapons forever. But yeah, I think Geno can deliver just fine. It's not like he's super inaccurate, but I'm just overall worried about the whole offense because I don't think he's getting help from the people when he needs the help either. Whether it's from the protection or from the some of the play calls or whatever. Like I'm not a big fan of the passing scheme in the last this season at all really. So yeah, I think Geno's gonna be Geno. I don't think he's gonna turn into a pumpkin. I don't think he's gonna start performing like Mac Jones or something, or Zach Wilson. I think he's the bucket of quarterbacks that he's in. He's gonna perform like that. Who else is in this? I'm trying to think of some more quarterbacks on the fly here. I think Stafford's is kind of in that bucket as well.
That's a good one. Yeah,
because Stafford, when the pieces are there, honestly, all he needs is Cooper Kupp. But when the pieces are there, he gets when his protection is there. That's true. All he needs is Puka against the Seahawks. But when the protection's there and McVay's doing his thing, like he's gonna be on. And we also seen Stafford just be off too when he doesn't have his guys like last year. Like when the protection was bad last year, and when he lost Kupp, it was like, yo.
Would you put Jared Goff in there too?
Yes, boom. Goff's kind of in that bucket too, where it's like if you put the right stuff around Goff, he will eat. I don't even think Goff that good, but if you put the pieces around that dude. and you let him throw some play action over routes, he will nail them joints because he is money. So yeah, I think that Geno's in that bucket of those quarterbacks. I mean, even Russ is kind of in that bucket. At least he was. I don't know what's up with Russ now, but yeah, I think there's a bucket of guys who it's like you put the right stuff around them, and they're gonna look top tier, which is what we've seen Geno look like in spurts last year and a little bit of this year too. So I think he's gonna be him. It just depends on whether everyone else is going to give the help they need when he needs it to really make him look like last year. He had some stretches was like, dog, this dude looks like Mahomes. He is dropping dimes. He's moving. He's throwing off platform. Like he was doing all the Mahomesy stuff there for a little bit last year. Whatever month he won, like player of the month or whatever, or player of the week, when he had that stretch there. I think it was October of last year. Like we seen it, but it's hard to maintain that when everything else around you ain't cooking either.
No, I hear you on that. But those are all the Twitter questions. We appreciate every single one of you for taking the time to give us a question. We appreciate it. We will have something special for you on Friday, and then we'll come back with a brand new episode after the Seahawks take on the Cardinals. That's a game, as Mike would say, that's a get-right game. Tough loss on the road to the Bengals. Why don't you just get right and beat up on the Cardinals? Execute offensively, third down specifically, because clearly the first two downs ain't really an issue. But you start getting the third and long, Cat's heads explodes. No one knows what's going on.
Third and anything, really. They're like an average third and short team. That's just kind of weird. Yeah, like it's one thing to not be good on third and long, and most teams aren't good on third and long, but they're like the worst in the league on third and long, or one of the worst. And then like even on third and short, which is third and short to be clear is 3 or less. Like average. Yeah, I could look it up, but yeah, they're a very weird team. I don't think I've ever seen now I haven't studied teams that long, but I don't think I've ever seen a team be so good on early downs and then just be like one of the worst teams in the league. Like it's on third down. That is really crazy. Yeah, they're 18th in third and short. So it's still not, if you're not converting those at a good clip, like come on, man. Let's see. Let me see before we sign off. They're 18th in third and short. They're 31st in third and medium.
The Broncos are worse?
Actually, no, they're tied with the Vikings for dead last. Or they're both tied at 31? Whatever. Either way, it's the worst. Them and the Vikings are the worst. And then on third and long, they are 24th at 20%. The league average is 23%. So, yeah, they are. And you look at some of these good teams, the Chiefs are number 1 in third and long. The Dolphins are number 2 in third and long. Damn, the Raiders and Steelers is that high? Oh boy, that's a weird one. But yeah, I think they're in trouble, Chris. I think they're in trouble offensively. The good thing is I have some faith in the run game, and I have some faith in the special teams, and I have some faith in the defense. So if they got to just be the Jets here during this stretch, no, for real, the Jets, Robert Saleh got them boys playing. So if they got to just grind games out, I think they're capable. But still, once you can't convert on third down, you're just so much easier to beat, and they really got to fix that. And I really think they got to look themselves in the mirror, not on just some of these one-on-one stuffs, but yeah, I think they got to just retool how they scheme a lot of this up. And yeah, if they don't, it could be some more frustrating losses like the one they had today.
Well, on that note, we will catch you guys later this week, and if we don't see you again, it'll be next. What is it? Monday? There it is. So you guys have a good and safe week. We'll talk to you later.